Pandemonium is a new development in the work of Killing Joke. It's a new chapter, as I see it, and for the first time in almost 10 years, or maybe longer actually, that we've worked together.
We forget about playing music, first of all. We live our lives to the extremes, and then we play spontaneously, and the music we hear is just a reflection of what's going on in our lives. Well, Killing Joke at its best is when it's cutting an unknown path with music, and I feel that we've achieved this with Pandemonium.
I remember the whole album, everything, it was very, very intense. It was a very, very surreal experience, but at the same time, very, very physical. But the intention was to kind of do it globally. We wanted to go to specific places that we felt personally emotive about and empathise with the energies there. We started off in New Zealand, which is a very special place for the band, and we moved on to Butterfly Studios, which is in the heart of Brixton and is the sort of core of what I do outside of the band. And then Cairo at the King's Pyramid, and that was, you know, probably the most intense recording experience I've ever experienced.
We get it all the time in interviews, you know. What about the influence you've had on bands, Ministry, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Metallica, the whole thrash scene, right the way through Revolt and Cox, right the way through to the most bizarre bands that we've been surprised at influence, right the way through to people like Kate Bush even. Surprise, surprise. We've influenced a lot of people, sure, we know that. The music's brilliant.
One of the reasons I produce other bands and mix other bands is because it's a great opportunity to learn and be in those bands for a short period of time almost, and be able to absorb and really study, you know, the many facets that are involved in making sound and recording it. My intent and purpose toward that sound always comes back in its clearest and most focused form when I work with Killing Joke.
If you look at all the individuals in the band, they're very, very powerful people. They've, the way their lives are and the things that they've done, they make them very different people. And when we come together under the banner of Killing Joke, it creates very different music, very different vibration altogether. Too strong for some people.
Because we address things that society doesn't normally project in a way that makes you feel good about, generally makes you feel bad about, part of Killing Joke's role, as I see, is to address that imbalance. And we do address emotions and subjects like guilt, jealousy, denial, things like that, which we feel fundamentally unnatural, our human rights to feel good about these things and, you know, express them. I find that liberating, and the people who appreciate Killing Joke, I know, find that liberating as well.
When we started in '78, we were basically four misfits from four different walks of life. And I came from sort of classical music and experimental music. It was, you know, how I got into Killing Joke, basically. That was my passion. And since then, since I moved to Iceland, I studied music, and I've been studying the orchestra, and I've just done a huge work with the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra for RCA Victor called the Idevol Cycle, which I did with a 120-piece orchestra. Then I've just been working with the London Symphony Orchestra and big jazz scene on it. That's quite a vibe. That's also for RCA Victor. And I'm doing a War Requiem at the moment for the London Chamber Orchestra and the Westminster Abbey Choir, which is very explosive. In the beginning of Killing Joke, there was a lot of despair. It was the sound of feeling that one had no control over one's destiny. Now, Killing Joke, for me, is the laughter of knowing that one has total control over one's destiny.